Hold your head up, it's Kasi Sasfigile. The time is now.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for coming on to this session, Namhlanje. So to everyone who is here, welcome everyone as well. This is the 100% Talk Show, the show that always promises to give you 100% talk for 100% real people. We're here for another, yet again, engaging and energizing session with Unonhlanhla Nonkululeko about Chiliza. We're going to talk briefly about what have parents been going through and what is their state of readiness for schools opening on level 3. Are their children going to school? Are they not? What are some of the things that they have put in their family structure, in their family lives, in order that they can be able to deal with this very sudden and very unexpected time? So my name, as always, is Tembega Vilani. I'm here to give you 100% talk for 100% real people. No, we're not in studio today. We are in our home studio, and some things have changed because we've had to be under the regulations of COVID-19. And so we would like to still thank our sponsors, though, even though they're not with us today. Can we just have an introduction from you guys? Can you just introduce yourselves and let us know who you are and just a little bit about your family?
My name is Chiliza, and this is my wife, Unonhlanhla Chiliza.
Beautiful
so
wife.
As Tembega mentioned, we are both working, but during the time of COVID, I am fortunate though to be working at home, and but she is not working at home, so that's the situation at the moment. So which is I think it's been fortunate, because then we've been able to basically engage this time much better than maybe if both of us were working. So I think obviously things would have been really different. So, but yeah, we are a family of 6, 4 children. Maybe love you can
You can tell us about your kids, yes.
We've got 4 kids. The eldest is 13. He's doing grade 7. And we've got twins, a boy and a girl. They're doing grade 6, they're 11. And our baby, not so baby anymore, he's 9 years old, doing grade 3. But he is the last born.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have fun times all the time. There's never a dull moment at the Chiliza household.
There isn't.
I'm pretty sure. So now here we are at the time of COVID-19, right? If you could just briefly tell us, how has this pandemic affected your family?
I think in terms of how it has affected us, I think right early at the beginning of the lockdown, I think we were able to see an opportunity that basically COVID created for us as a family. We saw an opportunity, although it is not, in a way, COVID, the whole situation, reality of COVID is not something we can celebrate. But I think for family gave us that pause to kind of focus on the things that maybe we sometimes don't have time to focus on. I can't do them, but it's just because of the context of having to go to work. I think for me that was quite fulfilling to know that I actually can do this.
Right, no, definitely. And in terms of the kids, though, as well, how has COVID affected them, if even or not? How are the kids feeling about this pandemic and this situation?
The kids are fine. I'd say, yeah, they are fine. But as Nkule was saying earlier on, this has been an opportunity to journey with them. So if the kids were at school, they would have learned about this as just a medical thing that is happening. But because they were at home, so as parents, we had an opportunity then to teach them about COVID. So we would spend time, documentaries to get.
And I guess, they're experiencing COVID. Frankly, you find that you have our eldest is a bit concerned about not going to grade 8.
It's a valid concern, very valid concern.
It doesn't care if it goes back to school or not, So I guess they are positioned differently within this whole reality of COVID.
Some of the real challenges that you have faced?
For me, obviously, although I'm at home, but I am supposed to be working. So I think it's to how do you structure my day in order to accommodate accommodates the kids as well. And so you find that because they've not really been attending visual meeting, but they've been receiving work from schools. So so it's been, because it's 4 kids, so you need to even the WhatsApp that are coming through from the different class group. I think fortunately Nonhlanhla is managing the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, I think like Kolego said, it has been a challenge because there are things that we could control, there are things that we cannot control. We can control the structure of our home, and we've before the lockdown, we've had a very strict routine that we put in place together with the kids. We wrote down to the T, from this hour to this hour, this is what you do. But I did not have control at sometimes when the messages would come through. But the thing that you sometimes we overwhelm ourselves as parents because we want to do everything perfectly all the time.
So I think we earlier on we had chats, the discussion, basically really trying to emphasize that this is not a holiday. It's really time to work. So I guess they've pretty much adjusted to that.
And it was also just an opportunity to expand them because what we're talking about, we don't have the luxury and the time to be in like every minute say do this, do that. But what we had was just the time frame for the things that they needed to do and allowing them to work within the time frame.
But what about other elements in the house? For example, the cooking, the cleaning.
I think for the home, we just created an environment of partnership and service. The reality of chores is part of you growing up, and is part of the reality of everybody who grows up gets more responsibility.
So with regards to your kids, what are your biggest concern? Maybe with regards to reopening of the schools, but just around the pandemic itself.
I guess it's natural. Our son is is in grade 7. There is concern, obviously, but I think generally what you have to look at whether the kids have underlying conditions, whether in the home there is someone with underlying health conditions that if the child has to go back to school, they can bring home. So it's been a journey of understanding his world, Tlaga's world, our oldest son doing grade 7, but also guiding him because his world is I want to finish grade 7. But our world is there's a pandemic that actually can kill people. You can go to school and this is what can happen. So it's been discussions very openly about understanding his world. But also I think Kule was explaining to him that, a year can be lost and there is still an opportunity. But also understand that the fact that this is the thing that going to high school, basically. We are happy with him going back to school. We have bought the mask, we've practiced wearing the mask. We have spoken about the routine of coming back to school, which is real, because having worked, I know that the routine has helped me.
Obviously, as well, I guess parents as well, the environment you are sending your kids to. You need to have a good assessment of the environment you'll be sending your kids to, and kind of see if be comfortable with the fact that are they going to be able to meet the requirement, the safety requirements. I think then there is that level of comfort from there because we kind of understand the environment that we're sending him to.
So what is the biggest lesson that you will be taking into the future now?
I think the greatest lesson, one of the greatest lessons, there's so much that we learned during this time, was a place being a home being like a place where kids are developed. That's always been, an important part. But just having to explain this virus and also just having to open the world for them, I think that's been one of the beautiful things that we saw during this time. And I think the whole issue of responsibility.
So what can you say to a parent now whom probably hasn't been as diligent in probably raising their children, and now here they are, they feel seriously stuck in the time of COVID-19?
Parenting, especially when you are working, the notion has always been you go to work to do something important, you come home to relax. And I think that is the first thing that we have to break. You're coming to work, actually you're going home to work. And I think the biggest thing that we've learned at home is intentionality, and to be very, very intentional about what we do and why we do things. One of the things we've been really explaining to the children, when we do something, we explain to them why we do the things that we do and why we require those things.
Really, it's intentionality more than having more time to spend with the kids. So, but as well, I think each parent must understand their context.
And we have a very valid question here. How are you dealing with kids always being at home and wanting to go out and are irritable about the lockdown?
Well, they haven't shown us irritability inside of the time because, for instance, we have Utando who always wants to go out, but I mean, she's been fine. I think I think in terms of the routine that you discuss with them, if you discuss that routine and schedule with them to say, okay, guys, from this time is this time, we've had to, from time to time, look at change the routine as well.
I think what happens sometimes when kids, maybe let's just say they're being irritable, is to find out why. When we were growing up, when we were irritable, it's like, hey, you. But we parents, we're learning to discuss, like Kulego was saying, we're learning to hear the kids out and to find out. Kids, there may be kids that are really just not feeling okay during this time. So kids are also human beings. Repeating a grade, the kids have like time. So we as parents, if we are uncomfortable, we're not going to send the kids to school.
So just on the general, to the human race, to the Durban public, what is it that you want to say on a parental level, just to increase that little hope a little bit?
I think for me is to really to say for parents is, I guess we have to take full ownership and responsibility. For instance, if you've made an assessment in terms it's not safe for my child to go there, be confident to say, my child is not going there.
And to just bring the child and making sure that their feelings and their thoughts are attended to, their questions and the uncertainty has been ironed out and explained.
So thank you so much to the Chiliza family. This has been absolutely,
thank you so much.
Absolutely amazing, absolutely, and thank you to everyone who joined us today. This episode, as well as others, will be up on our YouTube channel. But please do continue the conversation on all of our social media. This has been awesome. We've got another comment that says that it has been awesome. Thank you so very much. No, it has been awesome, and please do continue the conversation. Oh, we've got lots of comments coming here. I'm trying to wrap up. Intentionality all the time. Beautiful family, good partnership. So well done. There we go, Chiliza family. So yes, I'm seeing that the conversation is really starting to continue. You are welcome to continue it on all our social media platforms. We don't know how long the COVID is, or the lockdown rather, even the COVID-19 is going to last, and we really need to process. Really need to find ways that we can strive and thrive also as families, as workplaces, as communities, and as well as institutions. So my name is Tembeka Vilani. Thank you so much for joining us in this episode of the 100% Talk Show. I love you so much, but remember, God does love you. Bye.